We don't know if it's coming yet.
But that's okay. Nothing wrong with the job.
They're kind of planted the
I don't like the job. I speak a lot.
We said something.
When you've been around as long as
Good evening and welcome to the regular board meeting of the Garfield Heights City School District, Monday, July 17th, 2023. Mr. Oko, can I get roll call, please?
Mr. Isom, Ms. King,
Here.
Ms. Morrison,
Here.
Ms. Thomas,
Here.
Mrs. Daniels.
Can I get a motion to adopt this evening's agenda? So moved.
Second.
Mr. Oko, that was moved by Ms. Thomas and seconded by Ms. Morrison. Can I get roll call, please?
Ms. Thomas,
Yes.
Ms. Morrison,
Yes.
Ms. King.
Yes. Now I'd like to ask for a moment of silence and reflection and the Pledge of Allegiance led by Ms. Thomas.
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I get a motion to enter into executive session as of 6:06 p.m.?
So moved. Second.
Mr. Oko, that was moved by Ms. Morrison and seconded by Ms. Thomas. Can I get roll call, please?
Ms. Morrison,
Yes.
Ms. Thomas,
Yes.
Ms. King.
Yes. We will enter into executive session and return when we are done.
Okay.
All right, we have exited executive session at 6:33. Thank you very much, everybody, for your patience with us in going into executive session. I would like to entertain a motion to approve the minutes for the special board meeting of June 12th, 2023, and June 27th, 2023, and the regular board meeting of June 20th, 2023, as presented.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Yeah.
Mr. Oko, that was moved by Ms. Morrison, second by Ms. Thomas. Can I get roll call, please?
Ms. Morrison,
Yes.
Ms. Thomas,
Yes.
Mr. Isom,
Yes.
Ms. King.
Yes. And Mr. Isom, or Mr. Oko, please let the records reflect that Mr. Isom's here. Thank you. Now I'll go into our board president's report. Thank you, everyone, for being here this evening. My remarks this evening will be brief in nature, and I begin by expressing gratitude to the members of the Garfield Heights City Schools who continue to prepare for the upcoming school year during the summer break season. Dr. Reynolds and members of his team continue to keep focused on the requirements and the needs of the district while most of our school family is away during the summer months. Thank you for your diligence. As a Board of Education, our leadership and guidance of this district will continue to manifest itself through our mission statement, which is, at the heart of the community, the Garfield Heights City Schools prepare students to pursue their dreams and give back as engaged citizens and future leaders. This defines why we exist as an organization and why the work this summer, while students and staff enjoy their break, is so very important. Additionally, the district's vision is that the Garfield Heights City Schools, a premier educational institution, will be recognized throughout Ohio as fully preparing students to be leaders equipped with real-world skills to contribute to a global society. These reasons outline why we exist as an educational institution and the direction in which we collectively are moving. Finally, on behalf of the Board of Education, we applaud, congratulate the extraordinary career of Mrs. Sherry Bailey, who is retiring at the end of this month. While we have a proclamation for her this evening, I want to thank her very much for her support that she's given the Board of Education, the professionalism related to the technological needs and requirements of the Garfield Heights Board of Education, and more. Careers and tenures such as one experienced by Sherry Bailey are precisely the type we hope to matriculate for all of our employees. You have been a model administrator, and thank you kindly from the bottom of all of our hearts for your service. Please enjoy the rest of your summer, everyone. That concludes my report. We'll now go into committee reports. Are there any committee reports? Ms. Thomas?
I have a report for Cuyahoga Valley Career Center. Our last meeting was pretty short. We went over our bullying and harassment report for the quarter. We only had 2 incidents. We approved Gail Battle as the new career specialist for our district. We thanked our 2 instructors who are retiring, who retired after last school year. Those 2 positions have been replaced. We had a discussion about our leadership students as they are headed back to Washington, D.C. this year from not traveling during COVID as legislative liaisons. We have 3 teachers going into professional administration development. We approved our adult education handbook. We approved the contract for our strategic plan and diversity consultant. And we announced that we have no July meeting. That concludes our report.
Thank you, Ms. Thomas. Are there any other committee reports? I have a legislative liaison report. The biennium budget was signed by Governor DeWine. Some of the highlights that we need to be aware of are the Ed Choice voucher expansion will allow parents to utilize the voucher to put their child in private or parochial school or be homeschooled. There are no additional accountability required for those taking advantage of the voucher. It will cost taxpayers an additional $825 million compared to what is currently being spent on vouchers. The State Department of Education will be stripped of all of its regulatory powers and will not be acting on behalf of the public in any significant manner. The new policymaking body will report directly to the governor's office, and they will be known as the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce. The fair school funding calculation will not have as a significant impact on the district as we previously thought it might. And schools are required now to accept, and I thought this was interesting, schools are required to accept cash at athletic and school events. And we had shifted ours to, electronic, everyone purchasing their tickets ahead of time. But now we will be required to accept cash at school events. And that concludes my legislative liaison report. And if there are no more reports,
Madam Vice President,
yes,
may I ask a question to our administration about your report?
yes.
Seeing that we're required to now accept cash at activities and events, have we thought about any additional security procedures, knowing that now, whoever is working that door will be responsible for cash? I just see it as a safety thing. I think electronic is just so much safer.
Yeah, I think that we will have a conversation regarding still allowing, because it sounds like what they're asking is that we do accept, but that does not mean exclude the online payments as well. So I think that we will have possibly a second line in order to make sure that this line for folks who have done it online, and this line is for folks who need to pay cash. I don't think that we are going to just kind of do away with the online piece, but we'll go ahead and make adjustments according to. And even with this season, especially with football, we're going to be in a different location because of the condition of our own fields. So that would even give us an opportunity to create those two different entries as well for our folks who need to pay cash and those folks who are paying online.
Are there any other questions about any of our reports this evening? All right, we're going to go on to 6.1, which is a resolution commemorating the service of Sherry Bailey. Can I get a motion to accept our resolution for commemorating the service of Sherry Bailey, who's director of our technology department here at Garfield?
Second.
That was moved by Ms. Thomas and seconded by Ms. Morrison. Mr. Oko, can I get roll calls?
Ms. Thomas,
Yes.
Ms. Morrison,
Yes.
Mr. Isom,
Yes.
Ms. King.
Yes. And with that, again, Sherry, I want to thank you very much for all of your support, whether it was just helping us get signed on to the internet, all the way up to all the wonderful things that you've done to ensure during COVID that we went one-to-one with all of our scholars, making sure that all of our technology needs were met. I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I know that the rest of the board feels the same way. And, everyone here, if we could give Mrs. Bailey a round of applause. Would anybody else like to say anything?
You summed it up really, really well, but Ms. Bailey, thank you so much. You have definitely been the backbone of a lot of the things that we need as a board, no matter when we call how we contact you. You do a great job finding solutions to our problems, whether they be small or large. And again, like your work during COVID was unmatched. You took on a load and you superseded everything that we needed to keep our students learning through COVID. So we really appreciate you. We're gonna miss you.
I'm gonna miss you guys too.
I just want to say thank you for everything you've done and good luck on your retirement. Enjoy.
I'm going to.
I'll say the same. It was a pleasure working with you. And I know in my time here, I've had to call on you quite a few times. So I appreciate everything that you've done for me and everything you've done for all the scholars and the students and everything.
Thank you.
It was a beautiful time for you. You should enjoy what is next and, retirement and all the beautiful things that you'll encounter, for the rest of the free time that you have. And, I just say enjoy yourself.
Thanks.
Thank you, everyone. Now we'll go to our superintendent's report.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. The summertime is one of excitement and opportunity in the Garfield Heights City Schools. And on behalf of everyone in the district, I thank the instructors who are serving as mentors for the learning opportunities taking place here during these months. The summer learning opportunities expand enrichment chances for students in Garfield Heights, and even more so, help the development of routines of learning, which is vital to establishing a lifelong commitment to education. I commend the families for taking advantage of such opportunities for extra learning during the summer. And as usual, the summer is also the height of the hiring process. And with that, we have had teachers who've had to make decisions to move on from the district. So to ensure that we are learning, the Human Resource Department provided teachers with an exit survey. And with this, we've identified some areas that we can provide immediate improvement and other areas that will take a little more time. Though we are very excited about our new hires, it is extremely important that I acknowledge those teachers who continue to work to improve the district. Our meetings, our discussions, the planning, and the opportunities to learn alongside you this summer has been very, very valuable to the movement of this district. The Grow with Garfield campaign is underway right now, and those of us in this community who know our teachers who are interested in putting students at the heart of everything, you can do this to find a home right here in Garfield Heights City Schools. Interactive videos, job applications, and a full listing of opportunities are available on the website. So please take a moment to view that information or share with someone who may be interested in becoming a part of this Bulldog team. In other news, children who turn 5 years old on or before the fast approaching deadline of August 1st are eligible for the Little Bulldog Kindergarten registration. You must have an appointment to meet with our registration team, and we encourage you to learn more information on the website. Finally, I close with a report sending my warmest wishes to Sherry Bailey as we approach her retirement. I would like to thank her for 34 years of service here in Garfield Heights and serving as the Director of Technology for approximately 27 years. Ms. Bailey has helped lead the Garfield Heights City Schools in the coming of age of modern technology as we know it, including the installation of computers, the onset of the internet and email accounts, I remember that too, the website, and helping with the importance of virtually everything that is online in this district: registration, student records, parent portals, social media, and more. Sherry Bailey is the heart of all things technology in this district, and few may remember that she began her career here as a classroom teacher, and more than an instructor and administrator, Sherry Bailey has remained a leader in her own right, always inquisitive about the next convenience that technology could provide, willing to create, willing to try new things. Though it has assumed to the highest rank of the school district in terms of experience, she brought a childlike curiosity to the ever-changing world of technology and innovation each and every day of her job. We will all miss her very much. Thank you, Ms. Bailey, for your time, your energy, your enthusiasm, your professionalism, and your love for the Garfield Heights City Schools. Your district loves you back. And upon your retirement, we congratulate you. We celebrate you and we thank you very, very much. So we have a resolution to read. A resolution commending Sherry Bailey on her retirement. Whereas Sherry Bailey, a devoted long-term employee of the Garfield Heights City School, has declared that she will be retiring effective July 31st, 2003, completing an expansive career that has included many professional and personal milestones with a fast pace of technology and innovation during the time. And whereas in doing so, Mrs. Bailey is completing her 34th year as an employee of Garfield Heights City Schools, with 27 years having served as the District Director of Technology, offering leadership, collaboration, approach, and a spirit of teamwork, thoughtfulness, care, and compassion. And whereas in the midst of her tenure, Ms. Bailey oversaw and directed the entire technological framework of facilities and building of Garfield Heights City Schools, and helped with the integration of the first computers in classrooms. Wow. The installation of the district's first computer labs, the internet, the emergence of email accounts, and the onset of wireless compatibilities. And whereas prior to her leadership in the technology department, Ms. Bailey was a classroom teacher, which she began her time in Garfield Heights City Schools during the 1989 and 1990 school year, where she taught mathematics and computer science at the middle school. And whereas she performed all of her professional responsibilities with tremendous leadership, exuberance, curiosity, and desire to learn about new technology and innovation, and be willing to ensure that access for all students, staff, and families was widely available, always working hard to ensure that the educational, financial, and operational aspects of the Garfield Heights City Schools were advanced with the help of technology and innovation. And whereas Ms. Bailey cites as among her most fond memories of her tenure with the Garfield Heights City Schools as the passage of the bond in 2000, which helped to construct the current high school, and her participation in the complete wiring of the building and the integration of technology in the classroom, HVAC, phone lines, card readers, and more. And we will miss most the ability to recognize that trend is right around the corner and how she can make it readily, easily available for the Garfield Heights City Schools family. Therefore, be it in resolve that the Garfield Heights City Schools congratulates Sherry Bailey on her devotion to the school district and extends a formal best wishes to her during retirement with her husband Jeff and daughters Samantha and Ashley, and declares her on this occasion a true bulldog. Thank you, Ms. Bailey. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Any questions for Dr. Reynolds on his report? All right, we will go on to remarks from the public regarding agenda items, public participation at meetings. All meetings of the board and board-appointed committees are open to the public. In order for the board to fulfill its obligation to complete the planned agenda in an effective and efficient fashion, a maximum of 30 minutes of public participation may be permitted at each meeting. Each person addressing the board shall give his or her name and address. If several people wish to speak, each person is allotted 3 minutes until the total time of 30 minutes is used. During that period, no person may speak twice until who desire to speak have had the opportunity to do so. Persons desiring more time should follow the procedure of the board to be placed on the regular agenda. The period of public participation may be extended by a vote of the majority of the board present and voting. Agendas are available to all of those who attend the board meetings. This section of the agenda for public participation shall be indicated. Noted at the bottom of each agenda shall be a short paragraph, which I'm reading, outlining the board policies on public participation at board meetings. And so I do have one person that has signed up to speak in regards to our current agenda items. That is Joni Wonderstock.
Joni Wonderstock, 10905 Mount View Avenue, Garfield Heights, Ohio. Please don't count this against my 3 minutes, but Sherry, I must say this to you. As a teacher, I can't even begin to tell you how much you're appreciated. You deserve every accolade you've got tonight and then some. To put up with me alone, who we all know is the most limited computer person, and Tim will confirm it. But I cannot thank you enough for all you've done all these years. You are a class act and you are a real mensch.
Thanks.
Thank you. Okay.
Mr. Oko will be keeping,
Did you count that on my 3 minutes? Thank you. I actually contemplated as to whether or not I would or even should stand before this forum yet again. However, something has been going on for many weeks now in this district, and the culmination for me occurred over this weekend. As only one of approximately 11 teachers in our district that also reside in Garfield Heights, and as a participant in many community events for several decades, I'm compelled to speak now because I feel the desire and need to set the record straight on behalf of my colleagues, but even more importantly, on behalf of our students. There has been so much speculation as to what has caused to what I refer to as a mass exodus of almost 30% of our staff since school ended 6 weeks ago. This means almost 80 people, either teachers, school sites, 5 out of our 5 to be exact, a couple guidance counselors. In looking over the list of individuals now gone, I know I have worked with or know over half of them in my 4-decade career as a teacher. All of you know me and how honest I am, so I can only hope you believe what I'm about to say. While I only will speak on behalf of myself, I know what this exodus is not. I've heard comments such as teachers left because they refused to follow the rules, teachers could not handle the heat, so they got out of the kitchen. Not only are these comments grossly inaccurate, absolutely false, they're also demeaning and, in my opinion, insulting. I hear stuff all the time, and that's why I'm here, because this is not what it is not. Some of the most wonderful people, as I know as teachers, have left this district. Veteran teachers, people that have been here for years. I think the one that I find most disturbing, though, as far as an excuse, is when people make this a race issue. I was raised in a Jewish household, and I graduated in a class of 606, where only 6 students were Jewish. My twin sister and I were 2 of them. So I know all about racism, and although it might be to a different extent. However, I also know the truth that many of those that left Garfield Heights, that came to Garfield Heights, came because of diversity. What is perhaps most compelling is that every single person that I know of all those that have left, told me explicitly they had every intention of retiring from this district. They actually wanted to finish their careers, but alas, we find ourselves in this current situation. I believe we as a district need to look at what has gone on here. If you look at the list, all those, over half that I know personally, were incredible teachers, amazing colleagues, and most of all, admired and respected by our kids. One of the saddest things for me now is a realization that our students will miss out on the absence of so many quality educators. We need to determine what has led to this current situation and rectify and restore to what this district should be. I would be remiss if I did not also mention something that occurred this weekend. I ran into someone who is one of the people that have left, and her demeanor was completely different. I asked how she was doing, and what I heard left me feeling dejected, defeated, demeaned, disappointed, and most of all depressed, just like many of those that have left have felt at some point during the past year. This is wrong on every level. We must do better. I can only hope that this board will be vigilant in determining what led to the mass exodus of staff. Our kids deserve this, as they are the ultimate recipients of all of our efforts.
you're at your 3 minutes.
Or what?
You're in 3 minutes.
So I'm done?
Can you,
Yep,
can you-
I got 2 or 3 more sentences. Years ago, I saw in Dachau, Germany, a statue that said at the bottom, "Those who do not remember the past are condemned to repeat it." I fear that our district will have the potential to be a revolving door. Last year it was 45, this year it's 90. What's it gonna be next year? We must look at the mass exodus, no excuses, for our students deserve to have afforded to them what the vast majority of those that left were capable of providing them. I want to thank the board for their time and hopefully for their understanding of what I've tried to convey in my words. Sorry, I went over.
Thank you. Now we'll go on to 9.1, which is the approval of the financials for June 2023. Can I get a motion to approve the financials for June 2023 as presented?
Second.
That was moved by Ms. Thomas and seconded by Ms. Morrison. Can I get roll call, Mr. Oko?
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Morrison?
Yes.
Mr. Isom?
Yes.
Ms. King?
Yes. If I can get a motion to move and waive items 10 through ten through 16. 10 through 16. Can I get a motion to move and waive 10 through 16?
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Oko, that was moved by Ms. Morrison, second by Ms. Thomas. Can I get roll call?
Ms. Morrison?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas?
Yes, and then we have discussion. Discussion, I have a quick question.
Yes.
Roll call.
Item 13.1, the Dean of Culture position changed from administrative to qualified. Was there any specific reason why we chose to make that move?
Yeah, when I created the position, I was looking at what our buildings needed in order for us to allow our building leaders to focus a little more on the instructional piece, which the position will take some of the weight off of our principals. And it would also create kind of a liaison between the building and families. It wasn't created to be an administrative position. If we were able to do that, I probably would have created an assistant principal position. It was a mistake. It was a mistake, and it was created for those reasons. And so, and I saw that need right in the middle school and the high school. That's why it was created. So it being added as an administrator was not the intent of it.
Thank you.
Is there any other discussion from any of our items 10 through 16? All right, with no discussion, can we go back to roll call, Mr. Oko?
Ms. Morrison?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
Mr. Isom?
Yes.
Ms. King?
Yes. Yes,
To acknowledge one of our new administrators.
absolutely.
I just want to take a moment to acknowledge one of our new district administrators, Ms. Tasha Pettigrew. She will be joining us as the human resource.
Hello. I look forward to working with you.
She comes with several years of experience, an outstanding HR professional who's done a great job with creating structures and systems so that we can remain consistent as a district. And welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to Garfield Heights City Schools.
Thank you.
Look forward to working with you.
I look forward to working with you as well. Thank you.
Welcome, welcome.
It's okay.
All right, item 17 is to approve the second reading of the board policy. So is there a motion to approve the second reading of our Neola updates?
Second.
Second.
All right, that was moved by Ashley Thomas and seconded by Mr. Isom. Mr. Oko, could I get roll call?
Ms. Thomas? Mr. Isom?
Yes.
Ms. Morrison?
Yes.
Ms. King?
Yes. All right, can I get a motion to move and waive 18.1 through 19.4. That's 18.1 through 19.4.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, that was moved by Ms. Thomas and seconded by Mr. Isom. Is there any discussion? All right, if there's no discussion, Mr. Oko, that was moved by Ms. Thomas, seconded by Mr. Isom. Can I get a roll call?
Ms. Thomas,
Yes.
Mr. Isom,
Yes.
Ms. Morrison,
Yes.
Ms. King.
Yes. All right, item 20 is remarks from the public regarding miscellaneous school items. In order for the board to fulfill its obligation to complete the planned agenda in an effective and efficient fashion, a maximum of 30 minutes of public participation may be permitted at each meeting. Each person addressing the board shall give his or her name and address. If several people wish to speak, each person is allotted 3 minutes until the total time of 30 minutes is used. During that period, no person may speak twice until all who desire to speak have had the opportunity to do so. Persons desiring more time should follow the procedure of the board to be placed on the regular agenda. The period of public participation may be extended by a vote of the majority of the board present and voting. All right, we have several individuals that wish to speak this evening. Our first is Dawn Majors. And Mr. Oko, if you could be our timekeeper this evening.
Good evening,
Good evening.
Dawn Majors, 43 North Parkway, East Lake, Ohio. As a representative of the Garfield Heights Teaching Association, I have been asked to read this statement from a former GHTA member. I left teaching halfway through the 2022-2023 school year. This was a devastating yet necessary decision I came to make because my mental health was declining more and more from the environment at the middle school. Before this decision, I was so hopeful for this year and the middle school's new leadership. I truly thought it would make such a positive difference. Little did I know that the school would become less and less safe as admin did not hold students accountable, blew off teachers' concerns, and dangerous behaviors became more rampant. After the major lockdown that we had at the middle school at the beginning of the year was not addressed, along with its subsequent trauma, my feeling of safety was just about non-existent. Working my absolute hardest for my students and desperately trying to ensure that they got the best art education they deserved, and then being told by apathetic admin that the teachers at the middle school were, quote, mediocre, and that teachers with, quote, bad classroom management, many of whom were brand new teachers, would have their office referrals returned back to them without being addressed. I truly felt the most undervalued and unsupported I ever have in my 6.5 years at the middle school. This was solidified when I found another job, put in my 2 weeks, and no one, not even central office, responded to my resignation letter until I followed up 1 week later, just to make sure that they even received it. I was then told that someone would stop by the following week to speak with me and get the information for the long-term sub that I had found who was a licensed art teacher for the rest of the year. That never happened. Nobody ever came. On my last day, I shared the sub's contact info only to find out from my colleagues that my position was never filled or even posted. The students simply ran amok and watched movies for the rest of the school year. There was no farewell or acknowledgement of me leaving. No exit interview to see why I would abandon my teaching career only 6.5 years in. This experience leaving the district truly made me realize just how expendable and undervalued I was after sacrificing so much of myself for my students and this district. Garfield Heights City Schools leadership did me such a disservice. I do not think that I will ever enter the public teaching field again. Please, please do better for your teachers. Acknowledge the fact that almost 80 teachers, some of whom have spent decades of service in this district, are leaving this year, and that 47 left last year. Ask yourselves why. Better yet, ask them why, since you did not care to ask me why. Ask yourselves how you are going to make this a better place for your teachers and students. Commit to making this a place where teachers can stay without having to sacrifice their well-being or having to work 2 jobs. Where students can look forward to coming back and visiting their favorite teachers for years to come because they're still here. Our teachers are such a talented and dedicated group of people who love their students and who care about their success. Show them that you care. Give them what they are owed. I have never known a group more deserving. Please do better. Former Garfield Heights Middle School art teacher. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for reading that on behalf of the former staff member.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now we have Celeste Capitan, sorry. And please watch the cords, you will scare me.
Thank you for watching out.
7656 Broadview Road.
Yes.
Good evening. My name is Celeste Capitan. I was a first grade teacher at William Foster Elementary. I'd like to take a moment to thank the board members, the teachers, and the staff members here for the work that you've done. I'm sorry, I'm emotional. To ensure a better future for our students, not only in Garfield, but in general. I can almost guarantee you that not a single person woke up one day and decided, I'm going into education for the money and the recognition. It's a field built on passion to do better for the future of our world and for our children. It is with that passion and that desire to do good that I showed up every single day to work last year with a smile on my face and a willingness to be there for my students, despite the hardest year of not only my professional career, but my personal life as well. I have been a dedicated and passionate employee this past year, a year that my marriage ended, a year that I had to move out of my home, a year that I became the sole provider for my 2 small children, a year that my life quite literally imploded. But I showed up every day for those kids in my classroom. At the end of the school year, I was sent 2 salary notices from the district, and I did not sign and return those because I did not know what my life looked like this year. Over the summer, I made a mistake. I misunderstood the revised code, and I'm sorry for that. I did not believe I was under contract for this upcoming school year. Due to time constraints, I will not go through the exact timeline as it's already outlined in my resignation request, but I would like to emphasize that I did try to reach out multiple times for clarification on this and received no response. Until Saturday, I received communication from Dr. Reynolds stating that if I left without approval, I would be reported to the state for misconduct. I would like to clarify that I never stated I was leaving without approval. I was just asking for that approval. During that time, I had received an offer of employment that would put my family in a much better financial situation than we are currently in. So I'm here asking you again, respectfully, to release me from my contract for this upcoming school year. I made a mistake and I misread a complicated document, and I'm sorry. I tried to resolve this to the best of my ability, and I was met with radiant silence from a district that saw so little value in me as a teacher, let alone a human being. I could not even be acknowledged at all. If I stay in education, it will be for the children. It will be because it's a career that I've dreamt about my entire life. And if I leave, it will be because of the adults. If I'm reported to the board for misconduct, my license suspended, politics will have won, and that's fine. But it's the students who lose. They will have lost a teacher who loves them. They will have lost a teacher that is dedicated to her career and that will have showed up every day to make their lives a little brighter than it was when they walked in that door. All that being said, I do still wish to be released from my contract this upcoming school year, and I'm respectfully asking that the board approve this request. Thanks for your time.
Thank you for being here and reading your letter. Thank you. Next, we have Brianna Peck.
I'm Brianna Peck, 8025 Twin Oaks Drive, Broadview Heights, Ohio. For those that don't know me, I'm a science teacher at the high school, and I have been for the last 4 years. I'm coming to you this evening because I found a position elsewhere, and my resignation has been denied by Dr. Reynolds. I want to preface everything I'm about to say with the fact that I love our students, and I've never been shy about telling them that either. The guilt of wanting to leave this district is real because I would never want the students to feel like I don't care about them. So I just want to make that clear. However, the lack of safety that still exists and the high levels of stress placed on teachers has had such a huge impact on my mental health. I've been diagnosed with anxiety since I started working here.
It took nearly a year to stop jumping every time the announcements came on after our 2 lockdowns and numerous shelter-in-place incidents in the 21-22 school year. I fear every day that there will be a fight taking place in my classroom after this past year, where there were at least 3 instances of students entering a classroom and starting fights. In addition, I have cafeteria duty where fights often occur, and during this past school year, we were no longer provided with a security guard. In addition to safety concerns, there's been increased work and pressure placed on teachers. We've been told that classroom cuts should be classroom managed. And while I don't entirely disagree, I end up spending my whole planning period making phone calls for the 15 plus students that decided to cut my classes that day instead of planning effective lessons and activities or providing timely and meaningful feedback to students while grading. All of this pressure, lack of time, concern for my safety, and feeling like I can't be the teacher that I want to be has made me dread coming to work every day. I was filled with anxiety when I was told the Garfield Heights wouldn't let me out of my contract that I had just signed 4 days prior. So I signed the contract if I didn't want to go back. Well, 1 year ago, I became a single mom of 2 girls and had to start over. I have a family to provide for, and I cannot take the chance of not having a job next year if the district with which I was interviewing at the time of signing the contract chose not to hire me. Providing for my children takes priority over my mental health if I had to choose, but I've been given an opportunity where I don't have to choose and I can be both the teacher as well as the mother that the students and my kids deserve. Unfortunately, upon submitting my resignation, I received a letter denying my resignation and was threatened with being reported to ODE to have my teaching license suspended should I choose not to report to work this upcoming school year. To be honest, I am a bit confused by this decision. Teachers who resigned in the middle of the school year last year, leaving students without a teacher and staff scrambling to cover, had their resignations approved and were issued a letter regarding license suspension. It seems the district is picking and choosing who they are releasing from their contract based on the struggles of the district at the time of resignation, which doesn't seem very equitable to me. I understand that the district is experiencing staffing issues for this upcoming school year and that I signed a contract and the district does reserve the right to do as they indicated in the letter. However, I'm not attempting to resign in the middle of the school year. I submitted my resignation only 4 days after the given time frame because it was only then that I was informed that I would be given an opportunity in another district. In addition, I did give notice of my possible upcoming resignation on July 10th to the administrative assistant for HR by informing her that I was currently in the middle of an interview process in another district. You have the choice to report me and have my license suspended, but it's just that, a choice. You don't have to, and you could choose to allow me to move on in my career. So I come before you to ask if you would please reconsider your decision. Should you have a change of heart, I ask that you please contact the superintendent that had reached out to you last week tonight to let him know as they intend to have the position filled by tomorrow. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for sharing. We have Tammy Moeller.
Tammy Moeller, 811 Lakeview Drive, Brunswick, Ohio. I am the GHTA rep, and I've been asked to read this letter on behalf of a former member who just resigned recently. Excuse my voice. As I sit and write this letter, I am incredibly sad about how my time at Garfield Heights has ended. Thinking back to the start of my career as a school psychologist 2 years ago, I was excited to grow with Garfield and to hopefully make a lifelong career there. My first year went well. My SPED administration was supportive, respectful, and I was praised for my hard work. Because of this, I returned back the following 2022-2023 school year. My 2022-2023 school year was like nothing I had experienced in my previous school year. We had a new SPED director and supervisor, and to my surprise, my entire career would be changing. From day one, with the new administration, clear expectations of the role of a school psychologist were not clearly defined. New administration made it clear that they did not have any interest in looking to get to know me, helping me grow, and most importantly, were not looking to have a relationship with open communication and mutual respect. Everything I did right was not appreciated, and everything I did wrong was put under a microscope. I received zero guidance and support, expectations were not clear, and I received criticisms for my performance after performing my role exactly how I had the previous year. After the majority of my 2022-2023 school year in Garfield, I was made to feel incompetent and horrible at my job. It was then that I had to make the decision to accept a new position in another district that welcomed me and made me feel respected. I am hoping that losing 5 out of 5 psychologists is not looked at as a coincidence or just bad luck, and that the central office takes a serious look at the mistreatment of SPED staff and teachers. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. And that will conclude our time for our,
Excuse me. I came in a little late and I didn't get to sign the sheet, but I'm wondering if I could have 3 minutes as well.
yes, we'll allow that, 'cause we haven't hit our 30 minutes.
Okay.
If you would come up and, well, you can do this afterwards, just give us your name and your address, please.
My name is Rebecca Justice. I'm at 13804 Bangor Avenue. My mom graduated from Garfield Heights High School in 1958. My brothers and sisters graduated in the 90s. I graduated in 1995. I have a son who graduated in 2017, and I have another son who's entering the 7th grade. He will not be entering the district here. When you see 80 teachers leave a district, and teachers are posted, and teacher jobs are posted, and aide jobs are posted, but I don't see the administrators posted, when clearly there's where your issue is. And I have personal issues with the administrators at the middle school. My son was bullied all year long, punched in the face, thrown to the ground, nothing being done. And the day he stood up for himself, after 6 months of being bullied in gym in an unstructured classroom, he was suspended for 5 days. I called the principal, nothing was done. When my son was held in Ms. Kimura's office to finish his test and not allowed to go to lunch, and I made a phone call, never got my phone call returned. I have so much pride growing up in this community. I chose to buy a home in this community and stay in this community. And it literally breaks my heart to see it falling down. To see it falling down. We have to do better. We have to figure out what's happening and do better for the teachers. The teachers are the ones. They're the ones on the front lines. They're the ones dealing with the fights, with the safety issues. And if you don't have an administrative staff, whether it's at the school or here in this building, they can't do their jobs. And we deserve, our kids deserve to be put into the world with the proper education, the proper consequence, the proper structure for life, and it's just not happening. And as I was looking through schools in the Ed Choice program yesterday for me to send my son to, and it literally brings me to tears that I don't feel safe sending him here because I'm so proud of where I came from. But he's not safe in that school. And apparently neither are the teachers. So please, please do better for your teachers. Please do better for the kids in this community because they deserve it. Thank you.
Thank you. And if you could just sign. Oh, yeah. We'll pass it down to you. Thank you. That will conclude our comments from citizens. Our next regular, we have a special board meeting on August 14th at 6 p.m. here at the board office. We have a regularly scheduled board meeting on August 21st here at the board office. With that, I would like to entertain a motion to adjourn our meeting at 7:21.
Second.
All right, before I ask for roll call, thank you to everyone that came out this evening to support the district and to share comments and concerns. Mr. Oko, can I get roll call, please?
Ms. Thomas?
I have one quick question before we close. Are we still scheduled for a board retreat on August 12th?
Tentative.
Tentative.
Okay.
Thank you. Mr. Oko?
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Morrison?
Yes.
Mr. Isom? Ms. King?
Yes. Meeting adjourned.